Hello, everyone, and welcome to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and this is the review of Netflix new sports comedy, Happy Gilmore 2, starring, of course, Adam Sandler returning in the role of Happy Gilmore. Along with him, you have Julia Bowen, Christopher McDonald, Ben Stiller. Returns in this film, and A Partridge in a Pear Tree. I'm not even going to go down that road. This movie has a ton of actors and even more cameos that your heart can desire. I'll put it that way. I went into this film with little to none as far as expectations are concerned. I liked Adam Sandler growing up. You know, I watched Happy Gilmore. I watched The Wedding Singer and Billy Madsen and all of that good stuff. Adam Sandler had his place. You know, I enjoyed his films for what they were. You know, nothing that was going to rival the award season when they came around. But as far as comedy, entertaining, it's a certain style. You have to have a certain taste for that particular style of comedy. And around that time, that was my style, you know, silly, goofy, irrelevant styles of comedy. And I'm older now. We're much older. Those of us who grew up watching these films, and especially Happy Gilmore, the original. And, you know, some of those jokes wouldn't work in 2025. I was surprised by this movie. I enjoyed this film so much. I had no business having such a good time with this movie. I mean, smiled from ear to ear watching this movie. Laughed out loud. You know how good it felt to actually have an outburst of laughter watching a movie? That's rare these days, especially when it comes to comedy. We don't get comedies like this anymore. You know, it's a dying genre. It's sadly to say, we don't get these type of films, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get it in a few weeks with the Naked Gun reboot or reimagining, whatever it is. But we don't get movies like this. This movie was really, really good. And what I enjoyed about it most is just the example I used. You know, we're older now. You know, those who grew up with the original, who went to the theaters to go see the original, you know, we're older. We're maturer. You know, we're in a different climate, and we can't laugh at certain things, or certain things aren't tasteful as far as comedy is concerned. This movie leaned into that in a intelligent way. Oddly enough, it was still paying homage to the first film, but still not being misogynistic or having to rely on fart jokes and all this other stuff that made us chuckle when we were teenagers. You know, and it wasn't really adult humor. It was just dumb humor. And it was a joy to watch, man. And speaking of paying homage to the first film, this film was made strictly for fans of the Happy Gilmore film from 30 years ago, or however long it's been since that movie came out. And this movie made so many references to that movie. If you didn't watch it, you would probably be lost. And that's my knock on it. And I'm knocking it because of those who, you know, younger viewers who probably didn't watch Happy Gilmore, which is odd because it's on Netflix where Happy Gilmore 2 is on. So you can watch it and go into Happy Gilmore 2, even though they're not direct sequels or whatever the case may be. But you can still watch it, and it would make it that much better. I will say this. I'm glad I didn't rewatch the first film. And I implore you, if it's been a while since you've seen Happy Gilmore, don't watch it. Wait till after you've seen Happy Gilmore 2. And test your brain. Let's see if your brain can catch the references and the cameos and whatnot that's in this movie. Now, I will say this. Another knock I would put on this film, you don't have to really stretch your brain to find the cameo. Well, not the cameos, but the references to the first film, because they'll show you in flashback why that character is in this movie. It's kind of a step by step. Like, okay, in case you didn't see the first one, this is why we're talking about. It was like that, kind of dumbed it down for those who haven't seen the original. That part I'm not going to say I didn't like. It was a cute reference, but I knew what they were doing, and it kind of made me upset a little bit. Like, man, you ruined the fun in a way. It makes it to the point. Well, I don't have to watch the first Happy Gilmore. That I could just watch this one and know exactly what took place in the first one, and basically that's what it does. But for those of us who watched the original, it was a treat. And if you're a huge Happy Gilmore fan, if that's your favorite Adam Sandler movie, this will be your favorite. This does not deviate from that film at all, man. It has the same heart, the same tone, the same comedy, the same actors that was in that movie. A heart-touching, not moment, but it stretched throughout the entire film, and it was beautifully done. Beautifully done. As we know, there are characters that were in the first film played by actors who passed away between the releases of these two films. You had Bob Barker, who passed away, long time host of The Price is Right. He was on Happy Gilmore, in that epic fight scene on the golf course between him and Adam Sandler. Carl Weathers, man, known for playing Apollo Creed and Action Jackson. He was in the first Happy Gilmore. Who was the other actor? It was another one, but it escapes my mind. No disrespect intended there, but they did a homage in a way that, it was just touching, and it wasn't like sob, like, okay, they're not here no more. They really paid honor to that character and to that actor, whoever it was that were in the film. One of my favorite moments, and this is non-spoiler, but I think this was in the trailer, because I remember seeing this before it happened in the movie, or at least while it was happening in the movie. I like, oh, that was in the trailer. There was a fight between Happy Gilmore and Shooter in a graveyard, and they were by the tombstone of Bob Barker, and it was like a shot-for-shot remake of the fight between Bob Barker and Adam Sandler, and from the Price is Wrong, and all silhouetted by the tombstone of Bob Barker. In the throat, the grab of the throat, everything was there, and I'm like, perfect. That was so perfect, man. They did that excellent. And they did it throughout the film with other characters as well. I'm not going to get into all of those, but it was heartfelt. I really loved that about it. The new additions to this cast shocked me, man. Bad Bunny. Why isn't he in more movies? I seen him a couple of years ago. He was in that film with Brad Pitt, Bullet Train. I thought he was good in that, but he wasn't in it long, and he didn't speak. It was to the point like, okay, is his English that bad that they didn't want him to speak? But his English was perfect in this movie, and he was funny in this movie. He was good. Travis Kelce, Reggie Bush is in this in this movie with a cameo. Becky Lynch from the WWE, MJF from AEW. They had everybody in this movie. That I was like, wow, they got him. But the biggest shocker that I didn't see coming was Eminem. Eminem was in this film, and he played the son of the man, and I think that's the actor who passed away between the two films. In the first film, it was a guy. He would always yell "jackass" at Happy Gilmore when he's about to putt to throw him off. So, um, in this movie, Eminem plays his son, and he's dressed just like him, and he would yell "jackass" at him every time he was about to putt or swing. I thought that was genius. And then his whole little scene that he was in was just hilarious to me. Everything worked for me in this movie. It had no business. Like I said, I went into this just to watch it, and have a little fun with it because it's on Netflix and it ain't gonna hurt nobody. Man, I can honestly see this movie in theaters. They really missed the boat. This could have been, I'm not gonna say $1 billion movie, but it could have been a hit. I think this is what theaters is missing. These type of comedies, because it would have been such a fun experience to have that communal, gathering with the laughs and the, you know what I'm saying? It hits different in the theaters, but I did it all by myself here while I was watching it. Had such a good time. Adam Sandler did a great job as an older version of Happy Gilmore that from the last time we saw him in the first film. Christopher McDonald returning as Shooter was like a revelation, something that I didn't think I wanted to see, but was so glad that I got to see it. It was perfect, man. He just put that not costume, but that character back on like that's him. You would think that's him in real life. As seamless that he was able to capture this character that he played 29 years earlier. It was perfect, man. I really enjoyed it, if you can't tell. Happy Gilmore 2, which is currently on Netflix, gets a letter grade of a B+. Yeah, it is really funny. I had my hiccups with it. Some of the jokes didn't land. You can't expect for every joke to land, but the majority of them did, and that's good enough for me. And the ending was it got a little too silly, like the last two scenes before the end of the movie. It was like, okay, why did they throw this in? It was just a needless scene. Now I will say this, there was one scene that was so beautiful, and this was strictly for Adam Sandler. And man, as a father, I felt this. Trust me, I don't understand why this hit so hard, but it hit me so hard to the point I had tears welling up. They didn't fall, but they were welling up in my eyes. And it was the scene. His real life daughter is in the film. Actually, I think all his children are in the movie making an appearance. But there's, I think his oldest was in it more. She actually had an actual part in the film. And at the end, it was a scene, and she doesn't play his daughter, but and he says to her, you're a cool kid. And she was like, yeah, you remind me of my dad. And just the look, it wasn't acting from Adam Sandler. It wasn't acting. It was a look of sheer pride that he had. And it was so, I'm getting chills thinking about it now. It was just a beautiful scene. And it was inside of the dumbest scene in the movie. But that saved it. That little section of it saved it for me. Probably because I knew that was his daughter. If you didn't know that was his daughter, it probably wouldn't hit. It probably went over your head. And now that I'm telling you, But at the same, I knew going in that was his daughter. And I just thought that was a beautiful moment to kind of put a cherry on top of the sundae that is Happy Gilmore 2. But I would love to know, have you checked out Happy Gilmore 2? And were you a fan of the first film or what is your favorite Adam Sandler film? I don't know if I particularly have a favorite. I think The Wedding Singer is my favorite out of all of his during that era when he was hot, when he was popping out these movies back to back to back. I think that The Wedding Singer is probably my best, but I would love to know yours. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget about YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Smash this like button, subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel, and share this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this review of Happy Gilmore 2. Want you all to know that I love you, continue to love everyone, and until we speak again, you all be blessed.